Okay, this time we'll call the August Planning and Zoning meeting to order. Was the meeting properly noticed? The meeting properly noticed? Yes, it was. Okay, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Roll call with introductions. I'm Rocky Gilmer, representing District 3.
Chafee, District 7.
Bruce Knocker, citizen member.
Randy Thiessen, citizens member.
Jay Turco, District 1.
Ben Cavolio, District 9.
Okay, let the record show we have 6 members present. John Dolzall is absent. Need a motion to approve the agenda. Jody?
Second.
And Bruce? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. Public participation as it comes. And if you do choose to speak, you'll have 3 minutes and we'll need your name and address. Need a motion to approve the July Planning and Zoning minutes. Jay, Jody, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Surveyors report.
None of us like to report, finished off that corner I had mentioned to you a month or two ago about that was done incorrectly. That has been taken care of. Went and stake boundaries on 2 tax parcels that the county is selling this last month in July. Other than that, it's been fairly quiet.
Okay, anybody have any questions for the surveyor? Okay, moving on, treasurer's office address errors.
We were able to find one address this last month that needed to be changed. It's on 6th Avenue and it's on Colburn. We found it when we were actually addressing a new driveway that went in that is supposed to actually have the 947 6th Avenue based off the measurements. So we would like the committee's approval to change 647 6th Avenue to 931 6th Avenue.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about that change? And I need a motion to approve the change. Don? And Bruce? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Make the change.
Thank you.
Register of deeds.
Good afternoon. First of all, I wanted to tell you that the Wisconsin Register of Deeds Association was awarded the Governor's Archive Innovation Award for 2022. We're pretty proud of that, and I did write an article for the local paper because, as many of you do know, that most of the Register of Deeds in Wisconsin are very innovative in keeping their records up to date with technology, transferring data from different formats to another, from paper to microfilm. We digitized records. We took some old floppy disks, if some of you remember what those are, and transferred the data from those. We gained 4 years worth of data on those, and we did that a couple years ago. And so we were very proud to have that recognized, and we maintain about 570,000 documents in Adams County, and they have to be kept in perpetuity, so that way, if someone needs a record from 60 years ago, yesterday, 100 years ago, we have that record. So pretty proud of that fact. We're going to be starting our next scanning project again this month. That's part of the land information grant. And we'll be scanning some of the grantor grantee indexes because while we're constantly adding and digitizing those indexes, we felt that it's important for the title industry is, instead of having to come in and look at those indexes, that we put the older ones online. They'll all catch up with each other eventually. We're going to be working on that. Tax time, and as Tina can attest to this, brings in more inquiries or issues that are discovered when people come in to pay their taxes, and mom died 10 years ago, but we never had mom's name taken off, so working on those types of issues. So that's been keeping us pretty busy with that. I'm very happy to say that I know county board members were real happy with that online mapping presentation at county board last month, so that was really awesome. We've worked on that for many years, and so we're happy to see that the county recognizes that that is an important aspect of doing business in Adams County. That's it for that. So,
Okay, next thing is the budget. And we're not here to make line by line changes to the budget. It's more of an informative thing for their budget. So I would ask if everybody that looks at it, and does anybody have any questions for Jody?
did you guys get a copy of the budget?
It's available on the agenda.
Thank you. The only change that I made this year compared to other years is we decreased the postage and box rent by $100. We are keeping our box until 2023, that expires in June of 2050, because there wasn't enough notice to provide customers. I didn't want any delay in documents to be recorded. And but we are working on the notification. And then we'll do the forwarding of the boxes in end of June of 2023. So I did decrease that by $100 because I know postage has gone up as well. We are working on more electronic recording. We're up to about 68% of our documents electronically recorded. So that's awesome because it does not cost anything to send those back. But I did increase the printing cost by $50. That's for the records paper that you get your certified copies of your birth, death, and marriage on. We're lucky enough to issue things more statewide now, so we're getting more requests for those, so we need more paper for those. So that's it. Other than that, I didn't change it.
Okay. If there's no questions on that, we'll move on to land information.
That's not me.
Who is that, Sam?
Yeah.
Is Sam online? Does he know he's supposed to? Okay, we'll skip over that for now. And we'll go right into the public hearings. The first one is a conditional use. Well, I'm gonna.
No, we actually skipped number 10,
Register of deeds office activity.
road name change.
Road name change, where's that come from?
All right, so.
Read it off and it changes.
I'm gonna share my screen, I don't know if. So was an issue with this road, it's on County Z, Town of Monroe. That's Pete and Wall to the left. But the road, it's a fairly new road and new subdivision, or about 8 lots. It's Beaver Court. Well, typically, the ones that are named Beaver should be running east-west and have east-west numbers. This is at best the north-south road, but it has east-west numbers. And we are proposing to change it to 19th Bluff. And then the numbers would stay the same, correct? Yep, and we have contact, there's 2 houses, they don't show on the map. We have contacted both owners and they're more or less fine with us. Oh, you are here, wow, I didn't even, yes, so he's one of the owners there and he. Yeah.
Anything you can add?
Well, my question is, I guess, because it's such a short, it's literally a half a circle. There's 100 feet from one end to the other. It just makes a literally half circle. It's been that road name since 1970 when the development was there. I know it didn't.
It's been that long?
Yes.
Oh.
I kind of look at it tomato, tomato, it's whose opinion, if it's north, south, east or west, it's just on our end now. Both of the homes that are on that little circle are rentals. And if this goes through, I mean, it's bad enough we have to change everything, our personal stuff, but we have to go through our rental. And if this does happen, we really need to know when that sign gets changed, the day the sign gets changed, because we have people coming in that have never been there. And they have a hard time finding it now because Google doesn't show it very well unless you put in like mine, it's Red Pine Getaway. If you do that, it shows up, but I guess that my opinion is, I don't know if you can justify it's a north-south road, it intersects the road Z that runs north and south. And it's only 100 feet apart, but that's my opinion on that. I'd rather it not get changed, but that's, I guess, the end result is your guys' decision, but we need to be kept in the loop that when the date of that sign is gonna get changed, if it does get signed. And it can't be maybe, because people can't find it now. It's very difficult, both places where we have a heck of a time with people finding them.
And we would definitely communicate with
Yeah.
them. I mean, making sure you're in the loop when that goes up. And one of the reasons we have looked at changing is, because of how difficult it is to find on Google Maps. Because I believe you plug in your addresses, it takes you. What was that?
Big Flats was the other thing before.
Yeah, like 8 miles to the east. So that was the idea there.
Mhm.
As far as whether it is a north-south road or not,
I want to bend this one.
well, I guess when I said it's new, it's because the first houses were just built on that loop here, what, 2 years?
Mine was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Debbie's has been there for 15 years or more. But there again, the address was put in as County Z, how that ever happens beyond me. But then it got changed now to Beaver. When I pulled my permit to build my place,
When did it become Beaver?
1970, when the development.
Technically on the plat, it was 1970. However, the town never put a sign there. Because Debbie's was actually addressed as County Road Z when hers was originally built. When his permit got pulled, we realized, wait a minute, that's not on County Road Z.
The town Monroe adopted the road at that time.
And so the ordinance says that the named roads, Beaver and all them, are east-west roads. The numbering is a north-south numbering, so if we argue, or not argue, but say that Beaver Court, or that road is an east-west road, then the number should be in the 1900s. So either the road name's wrong or the numbering's wrong.
I guess personally, I'd rather see the number, I guess, because like I said, we need to be in the loop. That's all.
Yep,
I'm
and
concerned.
we'll make sure. And that's why we called you and
Yeah.
Deb, as soon as Dean and I had the first conversation about it, we called you
Yeah.
pretty much immediately.
Well, if it's been wrong for all these years, I'm not in favor of changing it. But I guess we need a motion one way or another.
But if it's gonna straighten out the Google thing that everybody uses, and get you back, so maybe it'll hit right. So when you punch it in.
And the 800 block of Beaver Court is in Big Flats. Or right close to it anyway. So that's where it thinks it should be taking you when you plug into Google.
I mean, I know where you're coming from, Rocky, I agree, but if we get it straightened out once and for all.
Google was the learning thing, and with, I actually contacted Google, because if you punch in my Red Pine, it'll bring it up, and it has that address until it's been used enough. It will recognize it, but at this point, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, so.
Anybody else? Any input? Jody?
I'm just curious why, I understand the north, south, the east, west. There's only 2 houses on here. Number wise, I mean, either way, they're gonna have to make some changes to their information. would it be better to change the numbers and leave Beaver Court the way it is? Why did you guys decide, other than the north, south, east, west parameters?
Mainly because it does intersect the same road twice, north and south from each other. If you look at, is it an east-west road, it goes out, but ultimately ends in the same. Whatever. The same line, but it is actually higher up on one, from one end to the other, so that's why I looked at it as a north-south.
Are there buildable lots on both sides of that road? On the inside of the circle?
Not in, the inside of the circle is owned by Adams County, I believe here. Yep, so that's part of the right of way, and there are four more lots,
Yeah, four more.
four more buildable lots.
On the outside of the
But I do think there's a couple of. Do you only own one lot, Oscar?
No, I own 3 of them there.
So approximately 2, unless he also built on additional lots.
You know, what happens, or what has happened in the past? Or is there some flexibility, or?
I have looked, I've never found another road in the county that actually is this shape.
Well, we did find one,
There is one,
and that is. Follows the same pattern that we're talking about switching to. That is in the town of Del
Prairie,
Prairie.
but it's also, it's a bigger half circle.
Talking about 13.
Yep.
I believe this is-
So there. You can see the road going through the middle, and that has a numbered, which would mean north-south road. I think you can make an argument on that one, which is east-west, but. Yeah, I mean, it's more of an angle.
It's where your cursor is, Dustin?
Where all the numbers are together. You can kind of see the road in there.
Oh my gosh.
We can highlight it there. So that's 13. Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
Oh. That was the only one we could come up with that was similar.
I guess I need a motion to approve the change.
Can I ask one more
Yes,
question?
you can.
Okay, what would you prefer, sir? Sorry, I mean, if it's 6 to 1 and a half, it doesn't.
I'd rather it stay the way it is, but I understand what you guys are getting at, but like I said, we need to be in the loop for people coming in and know the date that township is gonna change that sign and stuff that way too. I mean, it's gonna cost us money to change all of our personal stuff, our insurance, like both of us are LLCs, to have that redone with the address. That's why I'd rather just leave it, but I understand where you guys are coming from too, but it's costing us money.
And what I can. Yeah, like it's ultimately the committee's decision. The one thing that's come up, I mean, the grid system is laid out for a reason that you can give me any address and road name. I can tell you exactly how to get there without ever having been there. If you tell me 846 Beaver Court, I know it's 8 miles down from the top of the county. And it's 8 miles in from the east side of the county. Well, okay, I think I know that. This is off by, the 11 miles. And I know, I've heard the sheriff's department, whenever they have a new deputy, the first thing they do is drive around and show them the grid system. And once you learn it actually makes a lot of sense.
So then, Dustin, the numbers are more important. They're more relevant to pinpointing that location.
Either, they just both. So right now we have one that's using east-west, one that's using north-south. When you mix them together, it can take you any place. If you said 1900 Beaver Court, I know it's gonna be 8 miles down from the top of the county and 19 miles in from the east side of the county, which puts me in Piedmont. Or by Piedmont. And that would, as a responder or whatever, would get me close.
Would that Probably would have to, but wouldn't that be better for, would have to change the sign and everything else, I mean, yeah, we'll still have to change our number, I don't know,
And I don't think I don't think it's a huge deal one way, which you pick, or which we would fix. I feel pretty strongly one or the other needs to be fixed.
What about our town of Monroe fire number, that we have to pay for that to get that changed then too?
No, the treasurer's office will pay for that.
Okay.
Bruce?
Are there any other places in the county where we have a road in between Avenue, Drive, Court Lane?
We do. In the ordinance, there's actually 16 road names, or 32. There's 16 or 32 suffixes,
Okay,
and it's supposed to be on the section line, 16th section, so forth. A lot of our other ones, for whatever reason, not a huge fan of it, they use the east and west, or
yeah.
west 7th lane, or whatever. If you really look at the ordinance, I mean, it's alphabetical.
Right.
Your suffixes, and it'll go from avenue to boulevard, Bluff
So
Boulevard.
Bluff is in there now.
It is in the ordinance, that's how I picked that one. I wasn't that clever.
Is it time for a motion?
Yes.
I'd make a motion that we change the numbers. I think they're more indicative. And leave Beaver Court as the name.
We have a second? John? Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Peterson,
Yes.
Knocker,
Yes,
Gilmer,
Yes.
JB,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Carvillo.
Yes. Okay, motion passes, change the numbers.
I think it's easier for the transition actually for us, because we'll still know to get there, we could put another sign out, whatever the new number is supposed to be. So,
And we'll make sure we're in touch.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now can we go into public hearing?
Sure.
Okay, the first public hearing is a conditional use permit that the township has tabled until their August 16th meeting. So I'm recommending a motion that we also table ours until next month. John?
Second.
And Randy. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call vote. No. Roll call.
Knocker,
yes.
Gilmer,
Yes.
JB,
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Carvillo,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, 6 yes is tabled until our September meeting. Next one, Dusty.
The next application is for Gregory and Jacqueline Bukowski. It's a rezone request for a portion of a parcel, 2.91 acres from A1 35 exclusive ag to R1 LL, single family large lot on property located in part of the south half northwest quarter, section 14, township 17 north, range 6 east, parcel 2-737, town of Adams. The address is 2137 8th Drive. The town board of Adams does not object to the request. They felt it was a betterment of the property. That was at their meeting. And I received no other correspondence. The applicants, due to personal issues, were unable to make it here today, but they did send an agent in their stead. Dave, if anybody has any questions,
Okay,
or if Dave wants to explain it a little bit more.
can you explain it any further?
Yes, I don't know if you guys got a map of it and everything, see. What it looks
Yeah.
like.
I can. Maybe.
Yeah.
The existing parcel has the home on the far east end, which is, let's see, Drive, isn't it? Yes, it's Drive. And what they're trying to do is basically create a parcel for their home. And you'll see there's a pond on there, and get the pond and basically the rest of the, it's almost a 40. Get the rest of the 40 in a separate parcel, because upon their deaths, they have no children. They want to leave one parcel, including the home, to a brother, and the other parcel to a nephew, and splitting the property that way. And so they don't intend to draw a complete north-south line behind their house, because there will be a driveway, not a driveway, there's an existing driveway just at the very southeast edge of their property that goes back, that's been hunting land in the family for years. And so there's approximately about 36 acres that will be left to a nephew. If they want to give him a roadway. So otherwise, they're going to draw a straight north-south line behind their house, keeping the pond on the hunting property to the west. And actually, the parcel directly south of this piece had the exact same thing done, I think within the last year. Dustin, you can probably tell me on that, but this parcel here, there was a 40 that basically mirrored this parcel, and there was, I don't know if it was about 3 acres that was cut off in the northeast corner, pardon me.
Yeah, Smiths, I believe it was last year or even possibly the year before.
I looked for a tax bill on the website, I didn't see one. So for 2021.
So the approximate location, I am sharing my screen here, is, I mean, that's what they're proposing. Roughly, to get rezoned. Is that about right?
Say that one more time, please.
What I just highlighted in the blue,
Yes, exactly.
Dustin, can I ask a question? What is that long strip? I haven't been able to,
on the east side of that,
yeah,
if I look it up, I'll lose my,
The right of way or something?
I believe so. Yep. For whatever reason, that stretch is different than other right of ways.
okay.
We run across those periodically throughout the county. For some reason, the town was able to purchase that one.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions from the committee? Okay, is there anyone here that wishes to speak in favor of this proposal? Is there anyone that wishes to speak against this proposal? Hearing none, it's up to the committee.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Randy and Jody. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Milner,
yes.
JP,
Yes,
Turco,
Yes.
Cornelio,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Nightmare,
Yes.
Camper.
Okay, this proposal passes. It has to be before the full county board on August 16th at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay, next one.
The next application is for Scott and Jean Turnovitz. Rezone request for a parcel 34.97 acres from B1 Rural Business District and PR Planned Residential Community District to PR Planned Residential Community District and B1 Rural Business District. I'll explain that all in a second. On property located in the southwest, southeast, section 17, township 14 north, range 6 east, parcel 8-567-10, town of Del Prairie, Adams County, Wisconsin. I did receive from the town of Del Prairie. The town does not object. Both zoning districts are in the area and fits well with the surrounding properties, and that was at their July meeting. I did not receive any other correspondence. If you give me a second, I will, I stop sharing my screen. So the parcel is this whole piece here. And it goes all the way out to this green line north-south here. The current zoning map is that there's a private road that goes through there. Everything to the north is already zoned. The green is PR, planned residential. Essentially, houses are about the only permitted use. It's more designed for developments, not necessarily subdivision, but something similar, condos. Anything in the red is zone B1. What the applicant, and he is here to fill in any gaps. The proposal is to move around the zoning boundaries, basically. I take off the map, zoom in. Scott, if you want to share with.
I can everybody can see this, I can pass it around then. But basically, this is the existing zoning on that lot. So this is the outlined lot. I believe they were thinking about a marina or something here at one point. So what we're looking to do is to change this here. So what I'm trying to do is in this area, put my own residence, build a residence for my parents, and then put 6 other lots on this piece. So we're gonna try and keep the density pretty low on this piece. Over here, there's actually a portion that was flattened for construction for building the rest of the Lake of the Dells. And there's some debris and some other things there.
On the screen that is on, or that's the area he's talking about on the screen right now.
So in our proposal, we would take, make this piece that's out towards the river planned residential for those homes. We have 3 river lots over 1,200 feet, so we shouldn't affect the river too much. I know a lot of places divide up those into really small lots and then everybody takes their 30 feet and the river gets cleared. We're trying not to do that, just get the 3 lots on the riverfront. And then this piece over here, we would take that cleared area and put probably 15 to 20 storage units in there for the people in this planned community and the immediately adjacent neighbors. So Holiday Shores is immediately to the south and then Lake of the Dells is on each side. So basically, I think what we're doing is consistent with the area. When we talked with the town of Belle Prairie, they were concerned about the property initially with the V1 that's out here was the kind of the anger that they would get from the gated community about having folks coming in and out for a restaurant or a marina or any of those things. So basically, I talked with the president of the association. They're generally pleased. It pretty much maps with what they were originally going to do for a phase 3 of that planned community before the whole thing kind of went south on the partnership there. So we're kind of coming in and trying to do that phase 3, but that's why we're trying to go from B1 PR to PR B1. So this is the ask.
Any questions from the committee members?
Is there anybody online that is here for this hearing and was unable to hear any of that last part that Scott just went over?
Okay. Now, committee members, no questions? Okay. Is there anyone out there that wishes to speak in favor of this proposal? Is there anyone out there that wishes to speak against this proposal? Hearing none, it's up to the committee.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Randy.
Does that get done in just one move?
I'll second it.
Second by Jody. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Chafee,
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Pavilio,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Knockreiner,
Yes.
Gilmore.
Yes. Okay, this passes to the committee. It has to go before the full county board, August 16th at 6 p.m. Okay,
Next application is for Bula Land Company LLC. Rezone request for a portion of a parcel 5.318 acres from A135 exclusive ag with farmland preservation overlay to A3 secondary ag on property located in the northeast northwest section 12 township 19 north range 7 east. Parcel 6-218 town of Colburn, address is 164 Beaver Court. This had been on the agenda previously. And we took it off to allow them time to get to the town. They did get to the town of Colburn on their June 13th meeting, and the town of Colburn does not object. I received no other correspondence that I can see.
okay, is there anyone here from Bula Land Company? Or online?
No, but I am the neighbor with my property backing up to it, and that's why I am here. And I am interested in seeing what the plans are. I do know the people that are presently occupying that property, which is no problem. However, I would just like to know whether or not they plan on expanding any further buildings or not.
Okay, what is your name and address, sir?
My address is 177 Badger or Beaver Badger Lane. I'm just across 1 mile across from them, and the back of my property butts up against their property.
Your name?
My name is Thomas John Knott, Knott.
Okay. No representative online. Can you answer anything?
They're working off 5 acres that has an existing building. In order to do that, they would have to change the A3. That's more based on the minimum lot size requirements. That's why they would have to go to that. I was not able to get much information as far as why.
Yes, I get along very well with the Beulahs, no problem about it. And I know, as I had spoken, that I do know the people that are occupying that property. My question is that my concern is, I guess, is to say that there's no further buildings built on that property, because the majority of that property is, number one, agricultural, and number two, primary hunting. And we don't need any more buildings put up there for those reasons.
The rezone request would have nothing to do with the number of buildings. It's going from one ag district to another, so the more or less the permitted uses would stay the same.
Okay,
And the committee is mainly focusing on changing the zoning district, not looking at like future building permits.
Okay.
And once the public hearing is closed, or I guess you've already done the request for public comment.
Not really.
Okay.
okay, I understand that.
So Rocky, I can't see the things too small from the town participation. I thought it said something about residential when you had it there for just a minute. But we're going just to A3.
A1 to A3.
A1,
The house is allowed.
which our houses are allowed, but they're also allowed on A1.
If it's the owner of the farm, because this is farmland preservation
Oh,
also.
it's in farmland preservation. Okay.
Yes, with A3, that requirement goes away.
But how many houses, and maybe you'd set the gentleman's mind at rest, how many houses?
Sure, so in A3 zoning, you cannot create a parcel less than 5 acres, which is exactly what they are requesting. You can build 1 house on it.
Okay, and that was another concern of mine that I had not touched on, is that if there were added more houses in there or not. So it sounds like you guys had answered my questions, so thank you.
No questions from the committee? Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this proposal? there anyone who would like to speak against this proposal? Hearing none, it's up to the committee. Jody,
I'll make a motion to approve the rezone request.
we have a motion to approve and a second by Turco. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Turco.
Yes.
Carvillo.
Yes.
Ethan.
Yeah,
Knockreiner.
Yes.
Gilmer.
Yes,
Chaffee.
Yes,
okay. Tell the Bullets they gotta be here August 16th. Bud's Barn LLC.
The next request is for Bud's Barn LLC, rezone request for a portion of a parcel, 1.46 acres, from A3 secondary ag to B1 rural business district on property located in the northeast quarter, southwest quarter, section 26, township 14 north, range 7 east, parcel 22-478, town of New Haven. The address is 4074A, Second Lane. The applicant was before the town of New Haven board in July, and the town had no objection to the request. And their reasoning was that it does make the property conforming for current and future use. The applicant/agent is here to answer any questions. And he's sitting in the back.
Okay, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Basically, we used it for, well, we're using it right now for meetings. It was used by Easter Seals. Buddy Russell, that owns Travel Martin Dunkin' Donuts, is the one that owned it, and it's his kid owns it now, but, yeah, basically, we're trying to put a deck on a barn at this point, and for me to do that, I have to go through this process.
And I can add to a little bit what he said, that it's been being used as a commercial business. There's some storage going on, meetings, like I said, the Easter Seals. On the screen I'm sharing, the top building is the barn that he's referencing. That's where the meeting room is. It is here because they did apply for a permit to put a deck on that barn, and it, through our office's research, we realized that it is being used as commercial. And I want to say it's been being used that way for 10+ years.
Yeah, before my time.
Right. So the line where they were talking about that we're rezoning back to is approximately right. Someplace in, I have a more detailed map, but, and then the other part of the not request, but plan is that out here where this other little building is, there would be a maintenance shop.
Yeah, in the future, we would like to do a shop out there.
For their own, I mean, for Holiday Wholesale and the others, but that's where that would go.
Okay, does the committee have any questions? Okay. Hearing none, is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this proposal? Is there anyone who wishes to speak against this proposal? Hearing none, it's up to the committee. Circle first and Corvilio second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Carvillo.
Yes.
Ethan.
yes,
Knockreiner.
Yes.
Gilmer.
Yes,
Chaffee.
yes,
Turco.
okay, this has to be before the full county board on August 16th, 6 p.m.
Very much.
Okay,
Next application is for Robert and Jolene Schuster. It's a rezone request for a portion of a parcel of 5 acres from A1 exclusive ag with farmland preservation overlay to A3 secondary ag on property located in the southwest quarter, northwest quarter, section 2, township 14 north, range 6 east, parcel 8-31, town of Del Prairie. The address is 890 Gale Drive. I do have a little correspondence. So the application, or excuse me, the applicant did submit a letter. This is part of a real estate transaction. They are attempting to cut off 5 acres. The Schusters who own the property are selling to
Grady.
Greg Strady. There's a letter in the file talking about that Greg does have the permission to act on their behalf. The town of Del Prairie did approve this or does not object at their meeting on July 12th. They felt it fits their land use plan and the house already exists. That's all I.
Okay, is there anyone here or online that could add to this request?
I'm here on behalf of the Schusters and Greg Strady. They wish to part with all of their land, with the exception of their home. Strady would purchase 75 of the 80 that they own. We carve out the 5 on the southwest corner of the 140. They stay in their home. Strady, which is a neighboring property owner, purchases the 75.
Okay, any questions from the committee? Okay, is there anyone out there that wishes to speak in favor of this proposal? Is there anyone who wishes to speak against this proposal? Hearing none, it's up to the committee.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal.
Matt Reiner first, Jody second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Peterson,
Yes.
Knockreiner.
Yes.
Gilmer,
Yes,
JP,
Yes,
Turco.
Yes.
Gavilio.
Yes.
okay. August 16th, full board.
The next request is for Pavelski Farms LLC. It's a rezone request of a portion of a parcel, 2.3 acres from A1 exclusive ag with farmland preservation overlay to I1 industrial district on property location located in the southwest quarter, section 15, township 19 north, range 7 east, parcel 6-281, town of Colburn. No address. Again, I have a letter from Pavelski Farms stating that Adams Columbia Electric does have permission to act as their agent in this matter. And the town of Colburn heard this at their July meeting. They did not object to the request. The purpose of the request is to put in an electrical substation on the corner of one of the Pavelski Farm fields.
Okay, any questions from the committee? Jody?
so Lauren, you did get,
I did.
you did, okay, so that's where you're saying that the town did not.
Yeah,
have
it's
any-
on there. I'll put it on the screen.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, is there anyone out there that wishes to speak in favor of this request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak against this request? Hearing none, it's up to the committee. Don, approves?
Second.
Second by Randy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call
Knockreiner.
Yes.
Gilmer,
vote? Yes.
JP,
Yes,
Turco.
Yeah.
Gavilio.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, full county board, August 16th. This closes the public hearings. We're gonna go back to land information. The individual is here now.
My apologies.
What do you have for us?
I did know that the budget was attached to the agenda itself. I didn't really have much to kind of report on other than Kyle, myself, Jody, all kind of put together and took care of this budget for this year. What's on the agenda there?
Do you have anything strictly related to land information besides the budget?
To report on alone?
Like what you work on this month, or,
Oh, okay,
by the way, before I get to that part, this is our new land information officer for the county.
yeah, obviously new to this. I did not have it on my agenda, so that's
Official as of July 1st, I think it was.
July 1st technically,
Yeah,
yes.
so Jody was our land information officer, is a required position that we have. Sam took over those duties. He is also our GIS technician, which is one of the other divisions within the zoning and land conservation department. And so he is getting his feet wet and
Clearly,
and
Yes.
Jody's helping a lot. And But eventually he will be moving onto his own.
Okay, as far as the budget goes, like I said to the other ones, it's informational only unless somebody has a question about it. And we've had a chance to look at it.
And from my understanding, the money in the land information budget is all grant funded. So that's an important factor. But in regards to land information alone, there was a release for our next generation 911 grants from the state of Wisconsin. That's kind of a separate subject, but eventually we start working on those for the land information budget itself. And those are due October 25th, so it'll be a little bit of the sheriff's office and myself to kind of work on that. So.
Okay, anybody got a question for Sam? Jody?
No.
Your reputation precedes you.
I know.
Okay, we'll move on to the financial report.
It is attached. As we've been doing for a few years now, we're in good shape. As you can see, building permits were almost at our budgeted amount. Zoning permits about half, which is expected-ish. And sanitary permits were probably gonna pass our numbers by the end of August, or expected by the end of August. Otherwise doing very well, and a lot of that has to do with the permits. We are, for the year, about 60 or 50 permits ahead. June was within 11 permits, nothing spectacularly different. But we are about 18-ish thousand ahead in revenue for the year so far, year to date. I have been assuming for a couple of years that it was going to drop off at some point, but between interest rates and price of lumber and everything else, and nothing's changing. So I guess we just keep going.
Keep going, you're on a roll.
Yeah, right.
Unless anybody has a question.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yep, I just wanted to chime in real quick that regarding the planning zoning budget, there's gonna be a couple of budget amendments going to admin and finance. Just it's levy neutral, it's just a supplemental budget amendment to increase building permit fees by 30,000 and then increasing contract and services by 30,000. And then also for the Quincy zoning fees that we're collecting and the planned part-time position.
Hey, thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome.
As far as division updates, we have not hired that position. We do have an interview possibly coming up here soon, next week. Kind of just doing the same thing, busy. Yeah, and no, we definitely we're running a lot. So we're just
Okay.
budget. It's in there. And I don't think there was any major changes. There was a couple of things Kyle was talking about. The two, I guess, biggest changes that you guys should be aware of is that in past years, the GIS, because they weren't part of our department, was a separate budget. A separate part, and then so was the surveyors. This year, we moved the GIS budget into the zoning overall budget, and then we also moved the surveyors into that also. So the numbers change a little bit, but it's more just rolling everything together.
Okay, any questions? Jody?
I have a question actually on Quincy. Can you give us an update on where that's going?
I think good. What?
It's been really slow with Quincy down
Yeah, so right away, April, May, we actually had quite a rush of activity coming in, permits being issued. We've issued a few others. We are out in the area. There's sometimes multiple times a day, but 4 or 5 times a week. In the last few weeks or a couple weeks ago, we did a complete drive around in all the Dellwood subdivision and finding all the campers. And then any other violations. Out of that, I ended up with about 14. I think it was 14 violations just in the Dellwood subdivision there. Identified probably 50-ish campers. And then calls on a regular basis. So I think we're doing okay, and the town board hasn't said anything to me, but if you've heard otherwise.
I haven't, I was just wanting to be a fly on the wall and hear how things are going, so.
I've had good feedback through them and through other citizens there that they feel it's going pretty good.
And just on and I'm gonna do probably a bigger presentation someday on this. But you guys might be interested in the data we are collecting. So I'm sharing my screen again. I'm not sure why that's not, but. So Sam actually created this program for us. We use our iPads. And we go around, we can snap pictures, condition of campers, number of campers, any information we want. And then it GPSs them to a location. So last year when we did the whole amending the sanitary ordinance, one of the things we had to do, I had been guessing we probably had about 700 to 800 campers on vacant property in the county. I think I'm gonna be right, pretty accurate on that. So we're driving every road, every town. It's last year we did, I think it was 5 towns, started sending out letters. We got a lot of, there's a lot of compliance happening there. And we started adding, I actually had some of the staff going out a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. And they completed Colburn, Richfield. And then we started in on all of Quincy, but I did have them concentrating on the Dellwood subdivision. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's over on Castle Rock. It is there's a lot of houses, it's a big subdivision. And you can see all the roads in there, but every red dot is a vacant property that has a camper on it. And at least one camper. So some of them do have multiple campers on those red dots. But there's a lot. Which is exactly what we expected, or I guess I expected. And we're doing that same thing throughout the entire county.
You obviously haven't gotten anything, don't you?
I have not. We're getting there. We did do Del Prairie. I was kind of surprised there wasn't more in Del Prairie. I did hit Gillette Ave there on the, so barely in New Haven, or yeah. But there's not as many and you can see they're concentrated in a couple of the subdivisions. There and over the wagon wheel looking one. So we are working on it, but I think once this map is, once we get through all the towns, and obviously these do change. Every year we have more and more coming in. One thing I have noticed is the realtors have definitely gotten, or are aware for the most part of the sanitary requirements. So as people are looking to purchase property and saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna camp on it, we end up getting a phone call because they are, prospective buyers are hearing about it. And we haven't had much, a few people, but we haven't had a ton of concern about it. They recognize why we're doing the sanitary, or why those sanitary requirements are in place. And when you start looking at, even something like this, that's one small subdivision with 20, probably 20 different campers in it without some type of sanitary. Yes, there is, but I'm also realistic as far as what people do with a 30-gallon tank on camper. So the idea is to address issues like that. Is it a perfect system?
No.
But I don't think you can probably make one, so we're doing what we can.
Okay, moving on. Any correspondence?
No.
Next meeting date, September 7th. Don't leave the room before you sign the ordinances or resolutions. With that, I'll adjourn the meeting.